every program must have input, process, and output. For output, system.out.print. So this is for the output. We have two versions, println and a print. The difference is that the println, after printing the data, it will take you to the next line. But for a print, it will stay on the same line. So if there is another print after that, it will continue from that line. If we have more than one data, then you can combine these data by using a plus. For example, if you want to print a message followed by the value of a variable. So you are printing two data. You combine these two data by using a plus. So the first part, the first data is a message. The second data will be a variable. So when you write a variable name, it will not print on the screen amount. It will print the value of amount. But if you put between double quotation, then it will print the answer, okay, as a message. So the compiler will, this plus is not addition. This is combining, it means put them side by side. So first it will print the amount as, next it will print the value 3.99. Now if you don't have a space between these two, then these two will be close to each other. Now for input. Input in Java is a little bit complicated. It's not just you write one line for reading from the user, then you have to set up your program for reading. So you need to create an object in case that you need to read from the user. So you need 3 steps. And this is a must for every program that you need to read from the keyboard. You need to have 3 steps. First step, before you start writing the program, you write import java.util.scanner. You have to write this line before public class. Otherwise, you will not be able to define the object for the keyboard. Next step, create the object. To create the object, you imported the definition for scanner. CS is capital letter. So you'd write scanner as capital letter. You put the name of the keyboard. You can write it keyboard. You can write it input. You can write it N. So this is a variable name. This is the data type. This is the variable name. And this is the value. Remember, for defining variables, you need type. You need variable. And if you know the value, you just put equal and put the value. Now the value is all of this. I don't expect that you fully understand what is the meaning of this, because this is for chapter number 5. When we understand classes and objects, you will understand the meaning of new and what is a scanner and what is system.n. For the moment, just remember, if you want to read from the user, then you have to write import java.util.scanner before the program, before the class, and inside main, or maybe inside the class, doesn't matter. But if you define it inside main, you use it inside main. You write this line before reading. Now how to read? After you define the variable, which is called keyboard, by the way, you can call it input, kbd, input, n, just name it anything you like. But now it is called keyboard. Third step, after you define the variable, which is keyboard, then you use dot, and then you put what is called a method name. If you are reading an integer, you write next int, see here. If you are reading double, then you need to write next double. And I think I need to demonstrate this by a program. It's better that we write a program. So let us go to the Java compiler. So in here, I'm going to create a program. I have already prepared a file for that. I prepared a project for organizing my programs I cover in a class. So I'm going to save it. File, save, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it simple program. And I will include it inside, okay, it's March 9. Okay, I will include it inside March 9 and I will save it. Now it is saved, simple program. So I have to write the name of the class the same as the name of the program, simple program. So it will be simple program. Okay. And then we put brackets. So inside here, what we are going to write, we write public static void main and then string round square brackets args, and then we write the code for main. So first step is this, import. Second step, you define the object scanner. I'm not going to call it keyboard, just to show you that you can name it with anything. I'm going to call it N equal new scanner is capital letter, open round bracket, system is capital letter, dot N semicolon. So now here I'm going to write a comment, create an object for the input keyboard. So we are going system.n is for the keyboard. And when you take programming 114, ITCS 114, they will teach you how to read from a file. So you will change this one into the name of the file. So this will be just like a universal for any input device. So to read from the user, we are going to read an integer. First, we need to define that integer. So integer, I'm going to call it number. And then we use the name for the input n dot. And then we write next int because we are reading an integer. Okay. Then if I want to see what is the answer that I'm getting from the user, then we write system.out.println. You have entered, and then we write the message here, which is the number that we have written from the user called number. So this is all what we are going to write. So we need to compile the program and see the results. So first we will create an object for reading, and we will print a message, and then we read from the user, and then we write whatever the user has entered. So compile. So there are no errors. Operation complete. And now we need to run the program. Now it is running. See the message below? It says, please enter a number. This is because I have used system.out.println. Please enter a number. There is a println, so it will go to the next line. I will start typing. I will give 34. When I press enter, now I'm waiting because I am running this command. And this command, next int, it will pause the program. So the program will wait for the input. So if you type 34, press enter. So you have entered, and this is the message appeared. You have entered 34. Be careful when you input a number, you define an integer. So if you try to give, let's say, float as an example, you will get an error. See, you are getting an error because it is expected that the user to input integer, but the user has typed double. Also, so if you run it again, if you try to put something like A3, this is not an integer. Also, you will get an error, okay, from this operation. Let's go back. So these are the 3 steps that you need to write before you read any input from the user. So you need to prepare your program for input. So what are the methods that we are going to use? I mean, the methods for the input here. See, when you define your object, scanner, keyboard, then what are the methods that you can use for input? Integer is next integer. So this is a table. If you use next, then next is used for reading single word. So a single word, if you want to read word, one word only, then you use single word if it is a string. If you want to read a complete line, then you write next line. So here you are going to read complete line. Here are the methods for the other data types: next int, next double, next float, next long, next byte, and next short. And these are the data types, and here explanation, okay, what they return. Don't forget that Java is case sensitive. So you have to write it exactly the same: next int, next double, and etc. For a next Boolean, this will be covered in chapter number 3. And in chapter number 3, we will cover Boolean data types, and we will talk about it more. Although we don't need to read any Boolean data type from the user for true and false, but whenever that time comes, we will talk about it. Here is an example of writing a complete program to show you the process of input, process, output. And here we will talk about design analysis of a program. So how you analyze your program before you write the commands to solve the problem. This is the problem. For the problem, you need to identify what is input. You need to know what is the process, what you want to do exactly with the input. And then you need to know what is to show to the user. So when I explained that in a class, when I said programming involves programmer, user, and the computer, so the programmer will write the steps to coordinate the communication between the user and the computer. So the computer will ask the user for data, the computer will do the calculation, and then give the result back to the user. So we need to know from the problem what is the input, and then what is the process, what we want to do with the input, and what is the output, what is the result that we need to show on screen. So let us take this information from the program. Write a program that reads 2 integers from the user. So reads 2 integers from the user. So the input will be 2 integers. So we know now from the beginning that the program cannot run or cannot work if these 2 input are not given by the user. So we need 2 integer input. And then prints. So this is what's supposed to be as an output. So prints what? Prints their sum. Their sum means the addition. So we know now the addition, summation is the process. So the program will work as follows: read 2 integers, add the 2 integers, and then print the result. The answer is already on the slide. I have already prepared the answer. So first you put the 4 lines that we need for our program. And then we write our program inside. So you prepare your program for input. So you prepare your program for input. You write import java.util.scanner, and then you define your scanner variable inside. I define the variables before using them. See, I'm already defining the variables. I defined 3 variables: first, second, total, one for the first number, the other for the second number, and finally for the total. So these 2 will be input, and this one will be used for output. Next, we ask the user to give us the data. So enter the first number, the user will respond. Enter the second number, the user will respond. And then we do the calculation, which is writing an equation. Remember, this is not mathematical equation, this is computer. So the one on the right-hand side will be calculated, add the first and second, and then save the answer into total. Finally, you print the total by typing what is first, what is second, and what is total. If you look closely to this sentence, there is a plus, 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 and a plus. So it is combining first data, second data, third data, fourth data, and fifth. So it's combining 5 data. The first one is the name of a variable. Second one is a message. Third one is a variable. Fourth is a message, and last one is a variable. Combined all together, so the answer on the screen will be the first value plus the second value equal the answer.